Forget total GDP for a second. China's economy is worth over $20 trillion. The United States produces over $30 trillion a year. But spread those numbers across a billion, or hundreds of millions of people, and the wealth per person barely registers compared to some tiny nations you've probably never thought about. This list isn't about the biggest economies on Earth. It's about which countries produce the most wealth per citizen. These are the top 10 richest countries in the world, ranked by average income per person in 2026. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the most powerful nations on the planet don't even crack the top 5. Number 10. The Netherlands, with an average of around $80,000 per person. The Netherlands is proof that a small country with almost no natural resources can still build one of the most efficient economies on the planet. Nearly a quarter of the country sits below sea level, yet the Dutch turned that challenge into an advantage, becoming world leaders in water management, engineering, and logistics. The Port of Rotterdam is the busiest port in Europe, moving hundreds of millions of tons of cargo every single year, acting as the gateway for goods entering the entire continent. Even more surprising, the Netherlands is the world's second largest agricultural exporter by value, right behind the United States, despite being smaller than many US states. Number 9. Denmark, sitting at around $83,000 per person. Denmark's wealth is built on 3 pillars: pharmaceuticals, shipping, and renewable energy. Novo Nordisk, the pharmaceutical giant behind blockbuster weight loss and diabetes drugs, has become so valuable that its stock price alone can move Denmark's entire economy up or down. Add Maersk, one of the largest shipping and logistics companies on Earth, and you get a country that punches enormously above its weight in global trade. Denmark was also one of the earliest nations to invest heavily in wind energy, and today it generates more than half its electricity from wind and other renewables, a model much of the world is still trying to copy. Number 8. The United States, at roughly $93,000 per person. The US remains the largest economy in human history by total output, but with a population north of 340 million people, that massive wealth gets divided a lot more than in smaller, wealthier nations. Still, America's dominance in technology, finance, energy, and entertainment keeps its per-person average near the very top of the global rankings. Silicon Valley alone produces more economic value than most entire countries, and the US is home to more billionaires than any other nation on Earth. The catch is inequality. The top 1% of Americans control a disproportionate share of that wealth, meaning the national average doesn't always reflect what the typical citizen actually experiences. Number 7. Norway, with an average close to $92,000 per person. Norway's story is a masterclass in managing a resource boom the right way. When oil was discovered in the North Sea in the late 1960s, instead of spending the windfall immediately, Norway created a sovereign wealth fund to save and invest the profits for future generations. That fund is now worth well over $1.5 trillion, the largest of its kind on the planet, and it owns roughly 1.5% of every publicly listed company in the world. In practical terms, that means the average Norwegian citizen is indirectly a shareholder in thousands of businesses across the globe. Number 6. Iceland, at around $98,000 per person. With a population of under 400,000 people, smaller than many mid-sized cities, Iceland proves that a tiny nation can post massive wealth numbers per person. Sitting on top of volcanic activity, Iceland has access to nearly unlimited geothermal and hydroelectric power, keeping energy costs among the lowest in the developed world. That cheap, clean energy attracted heavy industry, including massive aluminum smelting operations that export metal worldwide. On top of that, Iceland's otherworldly landscapes have turned tourism into a multi-billion-dollar industry, with visitor numbers now regularly outnumbering the entire population several times over each year. Number 5. Singapore, sitting around $108,000 per person. Singapore has no oil, no significant farmland, and barely any natural resources at all. Yet, it transformed itself from a small trading post into one of the wealthiest nations on Earth in a single generation. The secret was strategy. An ultra-efficient port that became one of the busiest in the world. Aggressive low-tax policies that lured multinational corporate headquarters by the hundreds. And government-linked investment funds like Temasek and GIC that now manage hundreds of billions of dollars in global assets. Number 4. Switzerland, at roughly $115,000 per person. Switzerland built its wealth on precision, in every sense of the word. Pharmaceuticals, private banking, and high-end manufacturing dominate the economy, with global giants like Nestlé, Roche, and Novartis headquartered within its borders. Swiss banks have attracted international wealth for over a century, thanks to political neutrality, financial privacy laws, and a reputation for stability that survived even world wars. Add low unemployment and one of the most stable currencies in the world, and it's easy to see why Switzerland has stayed near the top for decades. Number 3. Ireland, with an average around $135,000 per person. Ireland's economic transformation is one of the most dramatic in modern history. Just a few decades ago, it was one of the poorer nations in Western Europe, with high unemployment and mass emigration. Then, in the 1990s and 2000s, Ireland introduced aggressive corporate tax incentives that convinced tech and pharmaceutical giants like Apple, Google, Meta, and Pfizer to base major operations there. Dublin transformed into a European tech hub almost overnight. Critics point out that Ireland's number is somewhat inflated because multinational companies book global profits through their Irish subsidiaries for tax purposes, meaning it doesn't perfectly reflect the wealth of ordinary Irish citizens. Even so, on paper, it makes Ireland one of the richest nations on the planet. Number 2. Luxembourg, at over $140,000 per person, with some estimates topping $150,000. This landlocked microstate, home to just around 650,000 people, has built its entire economy around one thing: finance. Luxembourg is one of the largest investment fund centers in the world, second only to the United States, managing trillions of dollars in assets for banks and institutions across Europe. Its central location, political stability, and business-friendly regulations made it the go-to base for companies operating across the European Union, essentially turning itself into Europe's financial vault. And number 1. Liechtenstein, with an average north of $200,000 per person, the highest of any country on Earth. Sandwiched between Switzerland and Austria in the Alps, this microstate is home to under 40,000 people, making it one of the smallest nations in the world. Despite its size, Liechtenstein has built a powerful economy around high-end industrial manufacturing, producing specialized machinery, dental products, and precision tools used globally, combined with one of the most secretive and sophisticated private banking sectors on Earth. Remarkably, Liechtenstein has more registered companies than actual citizens, as thousands of businesses use it as a low-tax base for international operations. 10 nations, countless different paths to the top. Oil funds, tax strategy, pharmaceuticals, shipping, banking secrecy, and pure engineering precision, all producing extraordinary wealth per person. But it's worth remembering that this kind of ranking is an average, not a guarantee. It doesn't mean every single citizen is rich. It means a country's total economic output, divided by its population, is enormous. And in several of these cases, corporate accounting plays a bigger role than everyday paychecks. Which country on this list surprised you the most? Was it the tiny alpine nation nobody's ever heard of taking the #1 spot? Or the fact that the world's biggest superpower didn't even crack the top 5? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this list, subscribe for more videos just like this one every single week.